This just in, Caitlin Clark is out for at least 2 weeks with a quad injury.
She hadn't missed a single game since 2017. Until now. The WNBA just lost its brightest star, at least for 2 weeks. Caitlin Clark is officially out with a left quadriceps strain, and while Indiana tries to stay calm, the league? Not so much.
So pretty much the only information that we have so far about the injury itself is from Chloe Peterson. And she said Caitlin Clark's left quad strain is a new injury, I'm told. It is not related to her left quad injury from training camp that forced her to miss the preseason opener.
Fans are furious. Conspiracies are swirling. And the WNBA's momentum teetering on the edge. Today, we're unpacking the injury, the aftermath, and the ripple effect across an entire league suddenly asking, can we survive without her? Let's get into it. Late last night, Indiana Fever dropped the bomb. Caitlin Clark, left quad strain, out a minimum of 2 weeks. That word, minimum, has everyone talking. Because behind that calm clinical press release is a bigger question. Is this the start of something worse?
This is not like the end of the world of injuries at all. I think what is so dark about this is that Caitlin Clark will definitely be missing a lot of basketball in a short WNBA season.
According to beat reporter Chloe Peterson, the injury is not related to the previous quad issue that kept Clark out of the preseason opener. But fans aren't buying it. Online, the reaction was immediate and brutal. New injury, really? People pointed out the footage. The heat packs, the way Clark was rubbing her leg on the bench, the drop in pace, the off-shooting. For weeks, something felt off, but nobody knew how bad it was. Now we do. Or do we? Because many think this isn't new, it's just something she's been hiding to keep playing. And if that's true, they want answers. From the coaching staff, from the front office, from someone.
Chloe says here that it's a new injury, and a lot of fans are not buying that at all. A lot of fans are saying she's had this injury the entire time and she's just been playing, and they're blaming the coach, they're blaming the organization, saying that you've been playing her so many minutes. Why would you do that if you knew that she was dealing with an injury?
But here's the twist. Indiana won't give those answers. Not because they don't care, but because they do. In professional sports, if a player's injury is public, other teams attack it, not out of malice, but out of strategy.
That's actually what is best for Caitlin when she does get back on the court, because you don't want other teams trying to go at her and exploit any weaknesses that she might have.
Clark's a lefty-heavy driver. If her left quad is compromised, defenders will force her left all game long, make her plant, twist, and push off a weak leg. It's brutal, but it's the game. So Indiana's staying silent, and it might be the smartest move they've made all year. Head coach Stephanie White addressed the media after practice, and you could feel the weight of the decision. She's a competitor, she said, wants to play, but it's about the long game. White admitted something else. Great players don't always speak up when they're hurting. But Clark did, and that might have saved her season. Because the Fever aren't just protecting their rookie, they're protecting their franchise.
I think we've got a real opportunity to grow here. Playing with different lead guards, playing in different actions, seeing what all of our off-ball stuff can look like. It gives us a different pace too when we're in our quarter court. So I think it's a good opportunity for us to look at, get a lot of different looks on both ends of the court.
Let's rewind. The warning signs were there. Multiple games showed Clark on the sideline. Heat pads on her thighs, slow jogs instead of fast breaks, a mechanical stiffness to her jumper. And if you've ever played ball, you know, your legs are your shot. A strained quad can destroy your mechanics. That explains her sudden shooting slump from deep, the drop in pace, even her ball handling decisions. She wasn't just in a funk, she was hurting.
I did notice in the Liberty game, Caitlin Clark's shots were all very short, so it was showing that she wasn't getting off, and she was having a difficult time making those threes, and a lot of explosiveness from those three-point shots does come from your legs.
Fans were frustrated. Where's the tempo? Where's the push? All offseason, Indiana promised pace. But the last few games? A grind. Clark wasn't sprinting, wasn't initiating in transition, wasn't herself. And it makes sense now. The team slowed down to match her compromised pace. Coach White moved her off-ball more. We all thought it was strategic. Turns out, it was survival.
And that's also could be a reason as to why this Indiana Fever team isn't playing as fast as a lot of us expected them to play. She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court, and that's what we saw from her last season and even all of her years at Iowa. That's the type of game that she likes to play.
So what now? Here's Indiana's schedule without Clark. Mystics, Sun. Mystics again. Sky. By the time they face the Sky, it'll mark the end of the projected 2-week timeline. But don't count on a quick return. The Fever have beaten the Mystics before, without Clark. And that game went into overtime. It wasn't pretty, but it showed one thing. This team has depth.
Stephanie White did announce who would be starting in Caitlin Clark's place, and that is the veteran Sydney Colson.
You mentioned using these 2 practices as trying to figure out your rotations, who's going to run point. Have you kind of nailed that down yet?
Yeah, we're going to start Sid at the point tomorrow. We're going to give that a look. Sophie's going to get a heavy dose of it as well. The other thing that we love is what Sophie and or Lexi, whichever one, brings us from the bench and having that spark, having that punch. So we're gonna look at Sid in that starting lineup to start.
Basically, Sydney Colson was brought in for guard depth. She's a veteran. She knows how to run a team. She knows how to defend her position. And she's not going to get lost out there.
Look for Sophie Cunningham. She stepped up big last time Clark sat out, scoring efficiently, leading huddles.
So I think, obviously, Sophie Cunningham is the best equipped player, not to replicate what Caitlin Clark can do, but I do understand this line of thinking from the coach.
Lexi Hull, starting to find rhythm. Dewana Bonner, DB. She's the glue holding this roster together right now. This is their chance to build confidence, chemistry, and show they're not just riding Clark's coattails.
Expect, as you could hear, Lexi Hull and Cunningham to get heavy minutes, especially heavy minutes together on the floor.
Unfortunately, not everyone is sticking around to see it. Some fans are selling tickets. Others are vowing to boycott broadcasts until Clark returns. And to that, we have to say, that's not fair to this team. Clark is a superstar, but the Fever are a team, and the WNBA is more than one player. This is the moment true fans show up. Journalist Christine Brennan summed up the stakes in one tweet. This is unfortunate for Clark, but it's devastating for the WNBA. She's not wrong. Viewership, through the roof, merch sales, dominated by Clark jerseys. Top 20 most watched WNBA games this season, all involve the Indiana Fever. This isn't just an injury, it's a league-wide disruption. The Caitlin Clark effect is real, and its absence will be felt. Until now, Clark was a machine. She hadn't missed a single game since November 28, 2017, back in high school. Her former coach said it about killed her to miss time with a sprained ankle. This is who she is, so if she's sitting now, it's serious, and it's smart. Because here's the thing, if you rush back from a quad injury, you risk worse. A CL tears, Achilles ruptures, patellar damage. The quad stabilizes all of it. Let it heal. Take the hit now. Protect the future. That's what Indiana's doing.
But there could be no better time for this injury from a schedule standpoint and to hold Clark out of action because she can miss 2 weeks and only miss 4 games, all against winnable opponents. And she could miss, 3 weeks and only miss 6 games.
This isn't just about Clark. It's about how the WNBA handles stardom, injury narratives, and fan expectations. Can the Fever win without her? Yes. Will they struggle? Possibly. But this is also a chance. A chance to test rotations, build resilience, prove they're more than one superstar. Look, we get it. It sucks. But let's not blow this up. The season is young, and Clark will be back. In the meantime, watch how Indiana responds. Does someone else rise up? Does the offense evolve? And when Clark does return, will she come back stronger?
Seeing her at practice, getting shots up, does make me believe that the injury is on the lower end of the spectrum.
For now, we wait. If the 2-week timeline holds, she could be back by the Dreamer Liberty game. But don't be shocked if it's longer. And don't tune out. This story is just beginning. Let us know what you think. Is this a crisis or a blessing in disguise? Do you trust the Fever without Clark? And what happens to the WNBA if viewership dips while she's gone? Comment your take below. Hit that like button if you're rooting for Caitlyn's comeback. And don't forget to subscribe. We break down the stories no one else will. Because in the WNBA, nothing is ever simple. And when a superstar goes silent, the league gets loud. Stay locked in. We'll see you next time.